to be called on, and that if you can, please limit your questions for 3 minutes for each participant. Next slide, please. For today's agenda, we'll be going over a reporting summary of the reporting year of this past reporting year, 2023. Same thing with some challenges that we had throughout the reporting year. Expected changes for the upcoming reporting year, so the 2024 reporting year. Proposed changes for certification for reduction of annual fees, going over some customer service improvements that we're planning for this upcoming reporting year. And then, of course, as I mentioned at the end, we'll be opening it up for feedback and open discussion. Next slide. So who makes up the eAR Input Forum? We have public water system representatives, water utility associations and organizations, non-governmental organizations representing water systems and consumers, and then lastly, entities representing data users, including other state agencies. Next slide. And then this slide here is just agencies and state counterparts and other agencies that collect eAR data, that collect our eAR data. We have our first poll for this webinar. Wait for it to come up. So poll number 1, who is joining us today? And there, if you could put your answer, public water system representative, water utility association, non-government organization, data user, sampler, or other. We'll give you guys about 10 more seconds to answer. Okay. Looks like the majority that is joining us today are public water system representatives, and with a mix of others as well. Thank you for joining. Next slide. Okay, Jonathan, passing the mic off to you.
All right, thank you, Gabby. So my name is Jonathan Swady, part of the data support unit on the eAR customer service team. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the reporting year 2023 eAR reporting summary. Next slide, please. Starting off with the water systems that are reporting in reporting year 2023. On the the left-hand side here, the eAR schedule was the release date was February 1st, 2024, and then the submission deadline was April 1st, 2024. So as far as the breakdown of the public water systems, we have 7,288 public water systems, 1,479 non-transient, non-community, 2,846 for community water systems, and lastly, 2,963 were transient, non-community water systems. So this is a breakdown of which water systems contributed to the eAR reporting for the reporting year 2023. Next slide. So this slide talks about the percentage of reporting year 2023 eAR surveys by completion status. So we have broken into 4 completion statuses, 1 being completed, 2 being not started, and then started and then submitted. And they're represented by the different colors there. So I just want to highlight completed was at 93.06%. Not started was 2.46%. Percent of surveys started was 1.1, and then percent of surveys submitted was 3.39. Next slide. So what we want to look at is the percent that were submitted and completed. So we have a total on the right-hand side here for this year, reporting year 2023, was 96.5% submitted and completed. This is up 1 percentage from last year, which was 95.6%. And then the last two categories here off to the left, percent in process slash needs revision is up from 1.1% to 2.0% for this year, for the reporting year 2023. And then percent not started all the way off to the left, 2.5% for 2022, and then down to 2.3 for 2023. Next slide, please. So this slide is the enforcement that were issued to water systems. For the not started slash in process reporting, off to the right-hand side here for 2022 is 314 water systems that did not have eARs that were started or in process. It's down to 274 for this year, 2023. And then the number of citations issued is down from 153 from 2022 to 107 for 2023. Next slide, please. This slide is going to talk about the time spent reporting the eAR. So how long it takes for the reporter to complete an eAR. So the average time to complete and submit the eAR we found to be about 8 hours. But only about 75% of the water systems reported the data. That's pretty good, but we still like to see those numbers bump up a bit. So on the finalized section of the eAR, there's a box right before you hit by checking this box sign, you enter in the amount of hours spent to complete this report. This information is utilized to characterize the level of effort required to complete the report. So it's very helpful for us if we could see that data. Next slide. All right, talking about poll number 2.
Poll number 2, based on the information provided, select which items you found interesting or worth providing in next year's input forum. We'll give you guys about 10 more seconds to respond. Looks like everyone was most interested in the reporter time spent completing the eAR, with second being enforcements issued, and then third eAR reporting statistics, and then 10% none of it. Thank you guys for responding. Next slide. Okay, challenges that we had during this reporting year 2023. Next slide. So some portal and user navigation. These first two that you're seeing here on the screen, unfortunately, these happened during the week, if I remember correctly, the week that the eAR was due. So the start button for report disappeared for users, and the loading time between sections was slow close to the deadline. Thankfully, we were able to work with our team and we were able to fix those two issues. And then the consumer confidence report uploading issues, we got some emails of some users, reporters having difficulties uploading their CCRs. And we asked some users if they could directly send us their CCRs, and us, the customer service team, we were able to upload those for you all. And we're hoping that for next year that these issues don't happen. But of course, you can never know how a portal system may end up working or not. But hopefully next year it's all good. Okay, now issues that were within the survey. I'm sure most of you had this issue. Sections 11 and 14, the reportable grid uploading issues. There's an issue uploading when the spreadsheet, this was an Excel spreadsheet, when you would try to upload it into the eAR, it was not allowing. it would throw an error. And we found out this was an issue with the formatting for the dates. And I know we were able to help you all with either sending you a template of the spreadsheet. And I know when we first weren't sure what the issue was, we were trying to upload those spreadsheets for you all. And these were the treatment and distribution certification spreadsheets. And then second, section 14A and B, users not able to access the table functionality. I believe what was said in the instructions, reporters were not able to do. And then section 14, treatment plants, groundwater treatment plants versus surface water treatment plants. This issue, I believe, was the groundwater treatment plants were being shown that the surface water treatment plants were being shown under groundwater and groundwater vice versa. And this is coding. It's not really an issue. It's just the way the code was made. So just a quick explanation. If a water systems treatment plant facility was groundwater or the water system's federal primary source is groundwater or groundwater purchased, then the treatment plant would be shown as groundwater and vice versa for the surface water as well. The first two issues for section 11 and 14 and section 14A and B, these we are fixed for the reporting year 2024. And the last one, because it's not really an issue, and also at this time, we don't have the resources to make the changes for section 14 treatment plants. Next slide. Okay, Jonathan, expected changes.
All right, thank you, Gabby. Yes, I'm going to go over some expected changes for the reporting year 2024. Next slide. All right, so this is going to be the reporting year 2024 enhancement summary. The first category is enhancements, and then off to the right of that is the number of those enhancements. And then lastly, at the bottom here, we have the example of major enhancements. So for what we are doing for 2024 is we had added three new questions. We had 15 different text revisions, additions and deletions, 2 add, update, hide, show logics, 8 help tips that were revised, added, or deleted, and then 18 add, updated, deleted features, as well as 5 framework changes. So some examples of these major enhancements that we've made are the CCR document upload fix. We know we had a big issue with that last year, so definitely looking forward to getting that, seeing the results of that come through for this reporting year. Secondly was the reportable grid download feature investigation in section 11 and 14. We are currently investigating that and trying to get that fixed, but it's definitely a priority. Third is the new questions and checkbox added to section 8C. So if you have to fill out that section, look forward to new questions and checkbox that were added. Next would be the email sent to users informing them that their account has been rejected. So now you get if you don't hear back for your rejection of some kind or another, you will have an email that will inform you. So hopefully that speeds that process up. And then lastly is we improved help tip languages. Next slide. All right, back to you, Gabby.
Jonathan. This is section 1B, certification for reduction of annual fees and changes. Next slide. This is specifically for water systems who are receiving a DAC fee reduction. There is a proposal to change the DAC fee reduction process. On the left-hand side, as most of you guys know already, the current process is reporters or water systems are self-certifying themselves. You are able to apply, you fill out the application, and then it's submitted via the eAR, and you state what your median household income sources, you state what your median household income is, and then you guys also state where you were able to find that MHI source. And on the right-hand side, again, this is still being approved by the undergoing process. It's still a proposal. The proposal would be the updated process would be state water board determination. And these proposed changes will not affect the fiscal year 2024-2025 billing year invoice. And how are we going to be identifying the median household income for water systems that serve a disadvantaged community? We'll be using the drinking water needs assessment data, and this data is publicly posted every single year. The platform is still going to be the eAR. And again, this is still a proposal, and the proposal would begin with the fiscal year 2025-2026 invoices. And then just stating one more time, if this is approved by the board, then the DAC certification process will be revised. Next slide. If you are interested in getting involved or receiving any notifications and updates about this proposal for the DAC fee reduction, you can subscribe to be part of the email distribution list. They're on our eAR website. If you click on subscribe to our email list, next slide. The left-hand side is shows what the website or the web page that will pop up. You'll just enter in your email address, click submit, and then here on the right-hand side, under drinking water, you will click drinking water program fees. And again, that's if you want to get involved or also receive notifications about any fee updates. Next slide, please. Okay, Wendy, passing the mic off to you. Oh, you're muted.
I am muted. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to share some customer service improvements slated for this next reporting year. But before I do that, I just want to share with you what we did this year and we'll continue to do next year. We provided brown bag sessions for the reporters. We also provided some office hours for our reviewers to share issues and clarify some questions as they were reviewing your eAR data. We'll continue, of course, to respond to your emails when you email concerns or issues to our email address, and that will be shared at the end. We also made a concerted effort when responding to emails. We would call call if we couldn't explain things via email. And that seemed to help a lot of the users. And you may be one of those people on this webinar. Again, we'll continue to work with we also did, and as I believe Gabby mentioned, or Jonathan, in previous slides, there was two big bugs in the week of the eAR was due, or even when it was due, that we worked with DIT very fast to get those fixed. And we give kudos to our DIT team, our information technology team, to get those bugs fixed so you could report your eAR. An item that we are currently pursuing and trying to get up and running for you all when the eAR does go live in February is video shorts. These video shorts will provide step-by-step instructions, how to fill out a section, how to do a function like upload a CCR, and include troubleshooting if you run into it and how to overcome that. These video short formats, we believe, will allow reporters to find the information they need a little more quickly instead of having to go through an hour-long video that we post online through a brown bag session. So we'll continue to do brown bag sessions, but we'll have these video shorts available. Also, we will be able to respond to the reporter in a more timely manner by providing links quickly to hopefully address their question or issue and a more direct response. So we are looking forward to that improvement in our customer service. So look forward to that. Look for that. It will be located in our technical resources section. And in the brown bag sessions that we provide in the beginning of the reporting season, we will be going over those on how to find those videos. So real quick, poll for, I believe this is the last poll for this webinar. If you have contacted our customer service team this year for assistance, what was your satisfaction rate? And I will give some time for everyone to respond. Okay. Looks like the participation was slowing down. So here are the results. Looks like majority of you all have not contacted our customer service team. So I hope if you do, we can provide you the service you need. It looks fairly close and extremely satisfied, somewhat satisfied, and neutral. And then a few people were not satisfied. So the people that were not satisfied, it would be nice to hear why you weren't satisfied so we can improve and address for future inquiries. So, on the next slide here. So our next item that we would like to share is our feedback. Hold on a second here. We would like to provide a form to all the registered attendees to this forum and a survey form. And if you would like to provide feedback via written form, we ask that the comments be due no later than September 27th so that we can compile them and summarize them for our next eAR input form, which will be October 9th. That invite will be sent out here probably by Friday or Monday. I cannot remember exactly what day we slotted the invite to go out, but you'll be getting that invite soon. Again, if you have issues or did not receive the email or want to jot down our email for future, it's ddw-ear@waterboards.ca.gov. So we encourage you guys to reach out to us. If you heard about this through someone else and are not a part of the eAR input distribution list, again, you would click if you want to get those information announcements. You would click the subscribe to our email on our eAR website. Very similar to how Gabby instructed for the DAC notifications. It will come up with the subscription website, and you insert your email address. Make sure you select electronic annual report input form and hit submit. And we use that distribution list in addition to water systems contact information to send these forms out to you all. So that's all I have for right now. I'd like to open up the air for open discussion. And I am kind of double duty here of logistics. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up my question Q&A and try to answer some of these questions. So the first question, Gabby, do you want to read the questions off for me?
First question from Robert Johnson. Will this webinar be recorded and available for viewing later?
That
And yes.
we are planning on doing that.
Next question is Brian Stewart. Wow, 8 hours. You must be doing something wrong if it takes us days, if not weeks, to compile all the information.
Yeah, it is a long report. We agree. 8 hours average is everybody, small water systems and large water systems. And do note, large water systems do take a long time to compile their information to enter. And small water systems, you know, it does take time. And it is good for us to know how much time it does take you all on average to complete these eARs, and giving you all enough time to complete it. Also, I do want to mention that last year we did take out a section. So I believe, if I remember last year's numbers, it may have actually gone down in average time, because that one section that does take some time too to report got put into the safer clearinghouse database.
Thank you. And then this is also regarding the 8 hours, just from Lori Rigby. 8 hours must be small systems.
Yeah, again, like I said, it's combined. It's everybody.
And then a question from Lori Rigby. What about a set deadline instead of a constantly moving deadline every year? Can't it be due July 1st every year?
So we actually asked this question, I believe, last year. We are now, the constant deadline is February 1st every year. That was established last year. It used to be like
April 1st is the deadline.
Oh, deadline. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, deadline. Yeah. It's always been 60 days, a 60-day deadline. The start date is what in the past has changed from many start dates. So this year, last year, we established February 1st, and then April 1st being a deadline every year. It's not going to change unless there's a technical problem of getting it live. We asked people if they wanted it earlier in the year, and they said yes, because July 1st tends to be another deadline of other things, because fiscal years are ending that time. Additionally, we have reports due July 1st where we use the data that's you all provide to us. So we need it earlier than later.
Thank you. And then comment for feedback from Eddie. The average of time, 8 hours spent on preparing the eAR, is not the best statistics to show the complexities and challenges for large water systems to gather the required data. Suggest to break down the average time for large, medium, and small water systems for more meaningful comparison.
Thank you, Eddie, for that input.
Yeah, that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I agree. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you can, if you still had more. I was going to go ahead and move on to the next.
I agree. That's a good feedback.
Question from Stephanie Voet. Apologies if I mispronounced your last name. This is in regards to Eddie's comment. I agree. Oh no, this is about the deadline. I agree. Extending the deadline would be very helpful. Our small firm just has 2 people who prepare over 20 reports each year. And right after that is the CCRs.
Okay. Yeah. I will mention it to management and see what they think too. So I just wrote a note to myself, but right now I know that it's pretty set in stone for the February to April 1st reporting period. So, but I'll give it a whirl.
Okay. And then from Lori Rigby, who all gets the invite? So the invite this year was sent to everyone who is subscribed to be part of the input forum, plus also public water systems, the administrative contact that we have on our database. And then from Jeremy Rosenthal, are we emailing the DDW address to get the feedback form? No, you'll be receiving, if you are a registered participant in this webinar, you'll be receiving the survey form in an email. And I believe, I don't know, if will be sent later this afternoon, that email, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you don't receive the email, then yes, you would email the DDW eAR email address. And then Wendy, if you could go back to the screen, Rocio Fernandez, can you provide the email again? And I'll type it also in the chat, but go to this.
This one.
So it's ddw-ear@waterboards.ca.gov. And I put that in the chat. Okay, next question from Lori Rigby. Why can't we export into and out of the eAR data entry? We often need multiple departments to input data, and the format is impossible to copy and paste into Excel. Excuse me. And it exports to PDF without formatting.
Yeah, this was a question that came up, I believe, a year or two ago. Why can't we? Yeah, the importing into our platform does not allow that. We would need to have a different software for that. And out of, I mean, there's some, don't get me wrong, Lori, there are some functionality, you know, as you know, there are some sections that do have the importing of files to insert into tables in the eAR, but the actual fields that are asked throughout the survey are not able to be have data imported into. And then out of the eAR, yeah, the only functionality we have right now is the PDF, and I get the formatting issues, especially when you want to put it into Excel. So I hear your angst and frustration. And I just think that we really do not have the resources to put that functionality into, or we don't have that challenge is there. We don't have the ability to do that. But with that said, we can at least put it in the list of enhancements to look at for next year of what, especially the export, because I think that's really helpful, of maybe exporting data, giving you all the ability to export data into Excel. We have it on our admin side, like we can pull certain fields. So I can talk to IT about that. I hope that helps a little bit, Lori.
Thank you. And then from Ryan McDaniel, do we get to see the text of the new questions?
Yeah, those will be published on our website, very similar to the template that we currently have on there, which was last year's template. And tell you the truth, nothing really has changed, except there was some section 8C, I believe, has some new questions in there.
And a comment from Lori Rigby. Please remove duplicative section. Safer report is covering so much duplicative data. Lead service line inventory is covering duplicative data. Backflow is duplicative in other reporting areas.
Okay, duly noted.
Thank you, Lori. Question from Christian Williams. When is this information, where is this information being stored and how is it made available to our regulators? We're about to have an inspection, and our DDW representative submitted questions for us to answer, many of which are answered each year in our eAR. Felt redundant to be provided this information for a second time.
The information is stored in a big database on the back end that we have data people that pull that data. Your regulator, you can reach out to your regulator and say, hey, I answered this question. It's in the eAR. They have access to your eARs and they review them annually. So yes, I feel the redundancy could be there. So please, if there is questions that are being asked by your regulator, just communicate with them that you had answered that in the eAR.
Okay, question from Daniel Duffy. Will future eARs require the Authenticator app like the Water Board LSL website?
Yeah. Daniel, you're talking about the WB Key, our MFA application that has been starting to be implemented on many applications that the Water Board has. eAR is not going to be implementing it hopefully until mid-year in 2025. We are having discussions with IT about that right now, but it's not going to be for this reporting year. It'll be too much.
Okay, and then this is from Stephanie Barancas. This is in regards to the deadline. She was just agreeing a set deadline would be helpful going forward.
And right now, the set deadline is April 1st.
Yes. Question from Chris Payton. Will comments we make for auto-populated information be updated this year?
What comments we make for... Chris, if you don't mind unmuting and clarifying, we can someone on my team unmute Chris Payton? Maybe he can clarify which comments for auto population.
On my end, it doesn't allow me to unmute.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I can do it on my end. There you. If you don't mind, Chris.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
So some of the auto-populated data in there, when we open it, it's already pre-populated.
Okay.
And then if it's incorrect, we make the comments in the comment section below it. And every year we make the comment to correct certain things, and it's the next year it's the same. Hasn't been updated.
Okay. I think I can talk to what you're probably the frustration would be the auto population for information that probably comes from SWRCB, our database of record. If you're making comments that something's wrong, like let's say, for example, the population keeps populating the wrong number, right? Every year, and what is coming from SWRCB, that needs to be done on your regulator side. You need to contact your regulator and tell them, hey, I've been making these comments. Can you please update this? Or have that discussion on your population and service connections, or, but majority of the time what we hear is the pre-populated data that's coming over year after year after year would be in context too, would be the stuff coming out of SWRCB. Does that help you?
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Chris. Question from Vince Dambrose. Do you have any anecdotes or examples where the eAR was helpful for data purposes or avoided a water shortage / issue? we're doing a lot of work. We want to know that if the effort is worth it.
Hold on one second. Sorry about that. Unfortunately, I do not. A lot of the analytics that go into the eAR data or examples that you're looking for are done by other people. And but the data that you do report is being used. And you're talking about water shortage issues. That data I know right now is being entered into the clearinghouse, all your deliveries and water production. There are models that are being done too. Other people are working on models for drought, and all that data is being used, what you're reporting. So it is being used. You guys are doing a lot of work. Thank you. And that effort is worth it. So, and that's just one example that I can think of off the cuff. I hope that helps.
Another question from Lori Rigby. Data is often asked for in retrospect. We cannot collect data in retrospect if we do not know you want it. Please provide a year of notice for major changes in the eARs. It's often caused blank sections, and we cannot read the mind of DDW staff.
Thank you, Lori. So, just reading over the question again. Yeah, so some major changes. 8C, we published the template in January, and I believe we make an announcement too in one of our emails saying that you can view the new template. And so what we can do in that one is highlight where new questions are added and or any major section changes. But the one off the top of my head right now is 8C. We had a new bill be passed for shutoffs, water shutoffs, and it was I believe SB3. So we had to make some modifications to that section to accommodate those requirements. So just as an example. So I hope that answers a little bit of your question, and I'll make a note to highlight that in our emails in January when we publish the template.
Thank you, Lori. Question from Angel Valle. Will the water usage section be removed this year since it got moved to the Safer website? Sometimes this section/page takes a while to load.
No, section 6 is gone, and it's in Safer.
A question from Greta Elliott. Does the DAC currently have to be applied for annually? So Greta, if I remember this correctly, I believe it's for small water systems that have 1,000 service connections or less than 1,000 service connections. That would be for small water systems. If you are currently receiving a DAC fee reduction, all you have to do is just check that check mark or that checkbox that's in section 1B of your eAR. And that's done. So that would be done yearly of just checking the box. And that's a small water system if you're currently receiving a DAC fee reduction. For large water systems, you do have to. So this would be systems with 1,000 service connections or more. You do have to apply annually. So that would be both submitting the application plus also checking that checkbox in section 1B.
And also to add that if you are not currently receiving a DAC and want to apply for one,
Oh, yes.
everybody that's newly applying would need to check the box and submit an application.
Thank you. And anyone that is on this webinar, if you have received an email from me or from the DSU email, please respond, as I am doing review of the applications currently. Next question from Niambi Lincoln. When can we expect the approval of our systems eAR submitted last year?
They were supposed to be approved months ago. So that's a question for your regulator. You can reach out to them.
Question from Jeremy Rosenthal. It would be nice if the financial sections could be broken out in a separate report. The finance director where I work is busy preparing the next budget when this report comes due, and I have to constantly be hounding them for the information in the financial sections. Basically, I have to ask them to log in directly to fill it out since it self-populates new questions as you go. Having to hound somebody above my pay grade in another department is a bit awkward.
We hear you, Jeremy. And there has been discussions on what to do with the Section 8 questions in the eAR, but that's still in discussion. As of this coming next year, they're staying as is, except for, like I mentioned, 8C. So apologies, you're going to have to hound them again next year.
Question from Eddie, also regarding Section 8. Section 8 already has many questions to be answered. Why add more questions for the reporting year 2024 eAR?
Yeah, I agree. Sorry.
Should SWRCB consider moving the whole Section 8 out?
Right. And that I hear that, and I actually have made a note to relay this to management about, you all concerned about Section 8 and wanting it in a separate report or move it out somewhere other platform. And also the questions in 8C, we are actually unhiding questions from previous years, and it's not many. And we're, I think, adding maybe 3 or 4 questions to what currently is there. Those are required. We're trying to accommodate or, go with the requirements of SB3. So something that just needs to be done, and, we need the information to accommodate that bill.
Question from Ryan McDaniel. Even if we can't import for an entire report, could we get a cleaner PDF to share with subject matter experts who will be providing data? One that possibly shows hidden questions that are promoted by specific answers.
I believe we worked on the PDF last year on making sure that items were showing up, because I know that things were missing. But the export that we I thought was pretty clean, but I guess we're hearing that it's not. Showing. Oh, you're talking about I'm wondering, Ryan, if you can unmute yourself. I want to clarify if you're talking about the template or the actual export of what you all enter. Ryan, okay, I unmuted you. Ryan, can you hear us? I can't hear you. Ryan, can you unmute? We can't hear you. Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, Ryan.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, in the past, I think we um tried to print from like the sections where we are entering data, and it didn't always show all the questions, and so I was just wondering if there was a cleaner way to do that.
Yeah, there's actually the template that we post online, I believe, shows all the hidden questions, like everything. But mind you, depending on the water system you are, not everybody has to report those items. And there's a lot of, especially Section 8. We know Section 8 is a beast. There's a lot of hide show logic. So if you answer this, it wants you to answer this next question. But I believe, I'm pretty sure the template has everything. It even has, we noticed it had questions on there that I thought were hidden, and I guess they're not, because if someone answers something a certain way, it shows. So you might want to just take a quick look at our eAR website and select the first little block, and general information, I believe it's titled. And there's a blank template in there. And let me know if that's, you can type it in the Q&A if that's what you might be looking for.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ryan.
And we do publish that every year. So.
Question from Greg Stanford. If you move forward with WB Key MFA for future, can multiple people have access to the report? We have multiple people completing the report, and the MFA that is being used for LSL does not allow for this, which is going to be a big problem for our staff, and I imagine many districts and cities.
I believe so. We have a similar other application that allows, the MFA, you have to, have a single sign-on for each user. With the eAR, it's already set up for multiple users having access to a report. So the MFA is actually different from the actual eAR. It's just getting you into the program. So I don't see it being a problem. We will be testing it prior to launching it, so that will hopefully show if that's going to be a problem as a bug. But I don't know the LSLI software and how they're implementing it, but for us, I don't see it being an issue.
Thank you. Question from Wendy Kelly. Are we going to discuss specific sections? I have a question about Section 8. Should I ask now or later?
Yeah, so this is not the platform to ask questions about certain sections, but you can email us a question on Section 8, or if you have a comment, you can email us about that section to the customer service team email. The ddw-ear@waterboards.ca.gov. Also, again, if anyone has any comments about a certain section or the platform, or if you want to reiterate what you said in these questions, this Q&A section, please feel free to fill out the feedback form.
And then Wendy, I put in again in the chat the email address, our email address. A question from Artie. We need to send each question to a work group in our organization to answer. Sending questions and receiving answers with the current format of the eAR is cumbersome. Can we have ability to send eAR questions to our staff as a read write PDF, MS Word, or MS Excel file? Please, thanks.
Yeah. This is came up previously. I have a note here to talk with our team of, is it possible to give the users, meaning the reporters, ability to have access to download fields into an Excel file, but it would not be uploadable. But I can see how filling out an Excel file and then just having one person enter it would be helpful. All I can do is talk to our team about it, our DIT people.
Question from Anthony Manzano. Are eAR results shared with AWWA? This may help answer some of their survey questions. Thank you.
eAR results. Anthony, I'm going to unmute you. Can you clarify which eAR results you are talking about here? Hold on one second. Let me unmute you. Anthony, yeah, Anthony, if you can provide a little bit more detail on what you mean by eAR, which eAR results shared with AW.
Yeah, thank you. So any financial related questions that could be tied into the water rate survey for AWWA. I think they're going to need to, I don't think they pull individual reports from the state. I think they're going to have their own questions, and then individual water utilities will have to pull our financial data and give it to them in their format. So I think that's why they ask for it. But it just seems like there's form after form and regulatory compliance after regulatory compliance, and it's too, I just wish there could be one universal database for everything. Maybe that's not realistic.
Yeah, we're trying. There's projects being done to pull this all together into one area. As far as sharing eAR results, it is public data. We are, on a side note, our unit is working on a better access to the data, eAR data, for all the results reported on open data. We just started working on it. Right now, there's files on our website. We've gotten several reports, and we know that it's not very user-friendly. It doesn't really work right. You have to be a data scientist to get that data. So we're working on getting flat files onto open data, and like you said, in section by section, so that AWWA, for example, could go to open data and just download the financial section and use that data. And they'll have a data dictionary for that data. So it is a project that we are currently working on to get onto open data. And that open data site is a state of California site, and it's for a lot of other data sets available throughout the state, not just drinking water.
It's called Open Data?
It's open. We'll put it in the chat.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. That sounds like a good trend and a good positive move forward. Thank you.
Yeah, it helps us too. Guiding people to Public Records Act requests.
Oh, thank you, Raphael Matsu. He put the.
Thanks, Rafa. I'm glad you're on. He's our co-worker who we work on that project with.
Put the website on there. Okay, question from Anthony Esparza. Just wanted to say thank you for hosting this webinar and providing assistance with the process. This is exceptionally helpful to myself and our staff who assist in generating this report.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then Kathy Carlson also thanking, I would like to say thank you for hosting this webinar and providing assistance. Much appreciated. Thank you, Kathy. And then this is the last question. Your poll number 3 results showed most report preparers did not contact your eAR customer service for last year's report. I was one of them, and the reason was that my past experience concluded that it was totally not helpful to resolve my problems in working on the eARs. Either lack of response or pointing you to the eAR help page did not help. Can your customer service team be committed to provide more timely help? In other words, within 24 hours?
Yeah. So the email response that you get back when you send an email to us is we will try all our efforts to respond within 2 to 3 business days. It is only the 3 of us and really the 2 of Gabby and Jonathan responding to all the eAR emails. And when email launches and when we're in peak eAR reporting season, it gets a little chaotic. We do our best, and I would have to say we have been responding to those emails within 24 hours. Unfortunately, things happen and we can't get to you right away. That's why we really hope in a lot of the types of emails that we saw coming through in our customer service inbox that can be addressed through these video shorts that we hope that, will help you all too. So, and then, the emails that we get, we hopefully are getting less and less that we can focus on the ones that need to be addressed quickly. Also, like I said earlier, we are trying to make our concerted effort to call people if they really truly are having problems and just we can't fix it online through virtual means. We'll set up a meeting in Teams and so we can look at your computer and try to fix it. But again, we're very resource strapped. It's not a huge customer service team. It's only like the 2 of us. And then if it's an email or a question that we feel the field staff can help them, we'll forward it on to the field staff. But we try to answer as many questions as we can within 24 hours.
Thank you, Eddie.
Not trying to make excuses, but yeah, it is, the reality too. But thank you Eddie for your input.
And that is the last question that is in the chat. I don't think we've had any hands raised.
Okay. We'll give it a few minutes for others to ask their last chance to ask questions. And I want to remind everybody, my annotation's on for some reason. Hold on 1 second. Okay. My video. Okay. So I want to remind everybody that you will be receiving an invite for input form number 2 on October 9th at 2 o'clock. If you can join us, that'd be great. If not, we hope to have these video recordings on our eAR website under, I believe that, Gabby, remind me, I think there's an input form.
Yeah, and there's on the right-hand side, the important dates and events, they'll be posted under there too.
Okay.
Doesn't look like we've had any other questions. I left up Rafa's comment on there so people can see.
I don't see any other comments. I don't see any hands raised. So I am going to go ahead and close today's input forum, and I thank you all for joining us. And we hope that see you on October 9th. So have a great rest of your week. And thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.